Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. It's a crisp Tuesday evening when I decide to take out the trash. The sky is a slate gray canopy, threatening rain, and I'm lost in thought, pondering the endless cycle of work and home. The trash bin sits innocuously in the corner of the alley, a nondescript monument to the mundane. I lift the lid and, in the dim light, notice something unusual, a slip of paper partially sticking out from beneath the refuse. I fish it out, brushing off the grime. It's a check, its corners crisp and clean amidst the refuse. I squint at the name written across the top, Morrison. My heart skips a beat as I see the amount, a substantial sum, enough to raise eyebrows. I glance at the memo line, for services rendered. Confused, I roll the check over and over in my hands, trying to piece together its significance. The name means nothing to me, but the amount does, enough to suggest something more than a casual transaction. Puzzled, I decide to sift through the trash. My fingers are soon stained with refuse, but the sight of another check, then another, keeps me going. Each check bears the same name and a different amount. My breath quickens. These aren't small transactions, they're payments for something significant. I stumble back to the kitchen, holding the checks tightly. Emma is in the living room, curled up with a book. Her presence seems incongruous with the discovery, like a facade masking a deeper truth. I need answers. I need to confront her. Emma, I call out, my voice tight. She looks up, startled, a flicker of apprehension in her eyes. Yes. Her tone is light, but there's an undercurrent I can't ignore. I slam the checks onto the kitchen table. Do you know this person? Morrison. Her eyes widen, and for a split second, I see something, a shadow of guilt. No, why? Because I found these in the trash, I say, my voice rising. A bunch of checks from someone named Morrison. They're all addressed to you. Emma's face pales. She stands up, suddenly fidgeting. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. I'm shouting now. These are not just random checks. They're significant amounts of money. What's going on, Emma? She hesitates, then looks away, unable to meet my gaze. I didn't mean for you to find out this way. I take a deep breath, trying to steady my anger. Meaning what? That you're hiding something from me? That you've been seeing this Morrison? Emma's silence is answer enough. So, it's true then. You've been unfaithful. Her shoulders slump, and she nods reluctantly. I'm so sorry, James. I didn't want to hurt you, but I've been seeing Morrison for months. The confession hits me like a physical blow. My head spins, and my vision blurs. Betrayal feels like a cold hand tightening around my chest. I want to scream, to lash out, but instead, I feel a steely resolve taking shape. Get out, I say through gritted teeth. I want you out of this house. Now. Emma's eyes fill with tears. James, please. No more excuses, I cut her off. I need you to leave. We're done. She starts to protest, but my mind is made up. I watch her pack hastily, her movements clumsy with emotion. I feel a grim satisfaction as I see her leave, suitcase in hand. The next steps are clear in my mind. I'll need to find out more about Morrison. If Emma's betrayal is this deep, then there's more to uncover. I'll need to consult with a lawyer, ensure that everything is handled correctly, and make sure that Emma doesn't leave with more than she deserves. The emptiness of the house seems to echo my own turmoil. The walls, once a backdrop to our life together, now feel foreign and hostile. My thoughts are a whirlwind of anger and determination. Emma may be gone, but the story isn't over. Not yet. I sit down at the kitchen table, the checks spread out before me. Each one a testament to a lie, a betrayal. I know that my revenge will be methodical, cold. I'll uncover the truth, and I'll make sure that both Emma and her lover pay for the deception they've inflicted upon me. The house is eerily quiet after Emma's departure. The silence presses heavily on me, amplifying the storm of thoughts in my mind. I take a deep breath and look at the checks again, their stark whiteness seeming almost blinding against the grime of the trash. I need to get answers, and the first step is to find out more about If Morrison. The name is not familiar, but a quick search online reveals nothing substantial. No business listings, no public profiles, just a blank slate. I'm frustrated, but my determination is unshaken. If A. Morrison is tied to Emma, then I need to dig deeper. I decide to call Kevin, a private investigator I know. He's a no-nonsense guy with a knack for finding out things people would rather keep hidden. I dial his number and pace around the kitchen while waiting for him to pick up. Hello. Kevin's voice is gruff but familiar. It's James, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. I need your help with something urgent. James. What's going on? I need to find out everything you can about someone named If Morrison. I've got a pile of checks here, and I think they're connected to my wife's infidelity. There's a pause on the other end. All right, I'll need some details. The name, obviously. Any other information you've got? I provide him with the details I have, including the amounts on the checks and the fact that they were all addressed to Emma. Kevin assures me he'll get to work and promises to call back with any updates. I hang up and feel a strange mix of relief and anxiety. Now that I've got someone else working on the mystery, I focus on the next step, consulting a lawyer. I need to ensure that my legal position is solid for the divorce proceedings. The following morning, I sit across from my lawyer, Alice, in her office. She's a sharp woman with a reputation for being tough in court, and right now, that's exactly what I need. James, she says, her eyes scanning the papers I've handed over. This is quite a bit of evidence. If what you're telling me is true, we've got a strong case for divorce, and possibly for a claim against your wife. I want to make sure she doesn't walk away with more than she's entitled to, I say firmly. I've worked hard for everything we have. Alice nods. Understood. I'll start the paperwork. You should prepare for a contentious divorce. Based on what you've told me, Emma might try to fight back. I leave her office with a heavy heart but a clear plan. The next step is to wait for Kevin's report. Meanwhile, I start going through Emma's belongings that she left behind. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I need to know if there's more to this than just financial transactions. I'm rifling through a drawer in the bedroom when I hear a knock at the front door. It's Kevin, his face a mask of concentration. James, I've got something for you, he says, handing me a manila envelope. I tear it open eagerly. Inside, there's a file with detailed information about If Morrison. Kevin begins to explain as I scan through the documents. A. Morrison is an alias. The real name is Adrian Mitchell. He's a businessman with a questionable history. It looks like he's involved in some unsavory activities, nothing concrete, but there are rumors of financial misconduct and other shady dealings. Shady dealings? I ask, my pulse quickening. What kind of dealings? Real estate scams, mostly, Kevin says. He's known for getting involved with high-profile individuals and manipulating them for financial gain. It's possible he was using your wife for some scheme. I feel a rush of anger. So, Emma was involved in something illegal, too? It's possible, Kevin replies. But without more concrete evidence, we can't be sure. I'd recommend you proceed with caution. There may be more to uncover. I nod, digesting the information. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate your help. After Kevin leaves, I sit down with the file. Adrian Mitchell's face stares back at me from a photograph, a man with a slick smile and cold eyes. I feel a surge of determination. Not only has Emma betrayed me, but she's also entangled in something far more sinister. I know I need to confront Emma about this. I have a feeling that the truth is far from over, and if Adrian Mitchell is involved, there's a lot more at stake. I draft a letter, notifying Emma that I'm aware of her connection with Mitchell and that she should be prepared for legal and personal consequences. As I seal the envelope, I can't shake the feeling that the worst is yet to come. Emma's betrayal has opened a Pandora's box, and the fallout promises to be far-reaching. I'm ready to see this through, no matter what it takes. The house feels colder now, the shadows lengthening as night falls. I'm left alone with my thoughts, the weight of what's to come pressing heavily on me. I'm ready to face the storm, to find out just how deep the rabbit hole goes, and to exact the retribution I so desperately seek. The sun is barely up, casting a grayish light over the city. My thoughts churn with anger and uncertainty as I prepare to meet Emma. I've arranged for us to meet at a small cafe downtown, neutral ground where things won't get too heated, or at least that's the hope. I need to confront her about Adrian Mitchell and what she's been involved in. The cafe is quiet, and I'm early, nursing a black coffee while watching the door. I catch sight of Emma as she steps inside, her face set in a mask of anxiety. She spots me and hesitates before making her way to the table. "James," she says, her voice strained. "Thanks for meeting me." "Emma," I reply coldly. "Let's get straight to the point. I know about Adrian Mitchell. I've seen the evidence." Her eyes widen in surprise, then quickly dart around, as if seeking an escape route. "James, I cut her off. I don't want excuses. I want the truth. What were you involved in with him?" Emma fidgets with the napkin on the table. "It's not what you think. I was involved with Adrian, but I didn't know the full extent of his dealings. I was in over my head." "You didn't know?" I shoot back. "You knew enough to take money from him. Did you think I wouldn't find out? That I wouldn't piece things together?" Tears well up in her eyes, but I'm not moved. "I'm sorry, James. I made a mistake. I got involved with him because he promised me opportunities, and I was too blinded by ambition to see what he really was." "Opportunities?" I repeat, incredulous. "You mean financial opportunities? You were willing to betray me for money?" Emma's face falls. "Yes, but it wasn't just about the money. Adrian manipulated me. He promised me that we could be together, that I could have a better life, and I fell for it." I shake my head, feeling a mixture of anger and pity. "Emma, this isn't just about us anymore. Adrian Mitchell is involved in illegal activities. You're tangled up in something much bigger than you realize." "I know," she says quietly. "I didn't realize how deep it went until it was too late. I'm scared, James. I don't know what to do." I take a deep breath, my anger simmering beneath the surface. "You should be scared. But I need you to be honest with me. What else do you know about him? Anything that can help me?" Emma looks down, wringing her hands. "I know that Adrian has connections with some dangerous people. He's been involved in real estate schemes, laundering money, and I think he might be in over his head with some criminal organizations." My heart pounds with a mix of fear and resolve. "So, he's dangerous. That makes things even more complicated." "Yes," Emma admits. "And I'm afraid that if he finds out I'm talking to you, it could put both of us in danger. Do you have any idea where he might be now? Any leads?" I ask, my mind racing. Emma shakes her head. "No, I haven't seen him in a few weeks. But he used to frequent a bar downtown, the Blue Lantern. It's a place where he met with his contacts." I nod, taking in the information. "All right. I'll check it out. But don't expect any leniency from me. You're going to have to face the consequences of your actions." Emma's face is a mixture of fear and resignation. I understand. I just hope you can find a way to get out of this mess. We part ways with a tense atmosphere hanging between us. The cafe feels even colder now, a stark reminder of the fractured relationship and the betrayal that brought us to this point. I drive to the Blue Lantern, a dive bar with a reputation for being a hangout for the less savory elements of the city. The neon sign flickers intermittently, casting an eerie glow on the sidewalk. I enter and scan the dimly lit room, the smell of stale beer and smoke lingering in the air. The place is sparsely populated, a few regulars scattered around, nursing their drinks. I approach the bar and order a beer, my eyes scanning the room for anyone who might look out of place. As I sip my drink, I notice a man at the end of the bar who matches Adrian Mitchell's description. He's engaged in a hushed conversation with another man, his demeanor guarded. I try to get closer without drawing attention, but they seem to be deep in discussion. I'm about to get closer when my phone buzzes. It's Kevin, my private investigator. James, I've got more information, he says, his voice tense. Adrian Mitchell is involved with a group known for violent enforcement of their interests. They're not to be trifled with. Be very careful. My pulse quickens. Thanks, Kevin. I'm at the Blue Lantern. I think I've spotted him. Stay safe, Kevin advises before hanging up. I keep my distance, watching Adrian and his companion. They seem oblivious to my presence, their conversation growing more animated. I catch snippets about deals and payments, and my heart races with the realization of just how deep Adrian's involvement goes. I decide to leave before things get risky. I need to gather more evidence and plan my next move carefully. The confrontation with Emma and my visit to the bar have only deepened the mystery. There's more to uncover, and the stakes are higher than I initially thought. As I drive home, the weight of the situation settles over me. I'm not just dealing with personal betrayal, I'm entangled in something far more dangerous. I need to stay focused and methodical. Emma's betrayal has led me into a web of deceit and danger, and I'm determined to unravel it, no matter the cost. The city lights blur as I drive to Adrian Mitchell's luxurious penthouse, a penthouse I've managed to track down thanks to the information Kevin provided. The night is alive with a restless energy, and I'm consumed by a cold, calculating rage. I'm done being a passive observer. It's time for action. I park a few blocks away and approach the building on foot, blending into the shadows. Adrian's penthouse is on the top floor, accessible only by a private elevator. I've managed to get a keycard from a contact of Kevin's, a security guard with a price on his head. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to get answers and exact my revenge. I slip through the lobby, avoiding the few late-night residents with practiced ease. The elevator ride to the top is tense, my grip tight on the keycard. When the doors open, I step into a lavish hallway, every inch of it screaming wealth and excess. The door to Adrian's penthouse is ajar. I push it open slowly, my heart racing. Inside, the penthouse is as opulent as expected, gleaming marble floors, expensive art, and a sprawling view of the city. Adrian is in the middle of a conversation with a couple of associates. They're gathered around a glass table, papers and electronic devices scattered across it. I silently move closer, the anger boiling within me. Adrian's voice is smooth, authoritative. We need to ensure that our investments are protected. No one should suspect a thing. His associate, a burly man with a scar on his face, nods. And what about the woman? She's getting too close. She's a liability, Adrian replies coldly. Handle it. Make sure she doesn't interfere with our plans. The realization hits me hard. Adrian is discussing eliminating Emma. My resolve hardens. I can't let him get away with this. As I step forward, the door creaks. Adrian and his men turn, their eyes widening in shock. What the hell, Adrian starts, but I cut him off with a fierce glare. Adrian Mitchell, I say, my voice low and dangerous. It's time to pay for everything you've done. Adrian's shock quickly turns to anger. You! What are you doing here? I don't answer. Instead, I move with purpose, grabbing a nearby vase and hurling it at the burly man. It shatters against his head, sending him sprawling. The room erupts into chaos. Adrian lunges at me, but I dodge and slam him into a wall. He fights back fiercely, but my rage fuels me. I strike him with brutal efficiency, each punch and kick delivering retribution for the betrayal he orchestrated. One of Adrian's associates, a wiry man with a smug demeanor, tries to intervene, but I tackle him to the floor, pinning him down. You're going to answer for everything, I growl. The sounds of the struggle are muffled by the opulent decor. I'm relentless, driven by the desire to make Adrian and his men feel the full weight of their treachery. I retrieve a document from the table, proof of their illegal dealings, and shove it in Adrian's face. This is the evidence I needed, I say. But now, it's your turn to face justice. Adrian's face is a mixture of fear and defiance. You think you've won? There are others who will come for you. You're making a big mistake. I pause, letting his words sink in. You've underestimated me. This is far from over, but you won't be around to see what happens next. With a final, decisive blow, I knock Adrian unconscious. The remaining associate, who has been trying to sneak away, gets a taste of his own medicine when I chase him down and subdue him. I make sure they're incapacitated, unable to follow or retaliate. Before leaving, I set up the documents in a way that points directly to Adrian and his associates, ensuring that their criminal activities will be exposed. I also plant a few incriminating items that will tie them to Emma's betrayal. As I exit the penthouse, I feel a grim satisfaction. The revenge I sought is complete, and justice has been served in the most ruthless manner. The sense of closure is cold but unmistakable. The next morning, the news breaks. Adrian Mitchell and his associates are arrested, their criminal empire unraveling as the authorities dig into their activities. Emma is left to face the fallout of her actions, her involvement now public knowledge. I sit in my now empty house, the walls echoing the absence of the life I once knew. The betrayal and the subsequent retribution have left their mark. The sense of loss and the hollow victory weigh heavily on me. I've exacted my revenge, but the cost has been immense. Emma tries to reach out, but her calls go unanswered. The finality of our separation is palpable. We're both left to pick up the pieces of our shattered lives, each burdened by the consequences of our actions. As I look out over the city from my window, I realize that the resolution I sought came at a high price. The cycle of betrayal and retribution has run its course, and I'm left with the quiet, unsettling aftermath of my decisions. The story ends not with triumph, but with the cold, harsh reality of the damage done. The final chapter of this saga is one of personal reckoning. The threads of deception have been pulled, revealing a web of lies and treachery. In the end, there's no room for reconciliation, only the bitter taste of retribution and the unrelenting silence of finality.